Motions for determination of a good faith settlement. Not a lot of cases need a motion like that, but when you have multiple defendants in a lawsuit and you end up settling with different defendants at different times, the best case scenario for a defendant is to file a motion for a determination of a good faith settlement in Nevada, because if that motion is granted, the court is basically putting its stamp of approval on the settlement between the plaintiff and that defendant. And when the court is putting that approval on that settlement, it has some really important factors, or has some really important consequences for if that case ever goes to trial. So when a case goes to trial, the thing the jury fills out is called a verdict form. And that verdict form is literally a piece of paper that the jury will write on. And these are really fun to look at. I love saving them. I love sending verdict forms to insurance adjusters. They're very powerful documents because they're evidence of a jury and a trial and the jury's decision. And so that verdict form is very important. And when we're working on our cases, we're constantly thinking about what that verdict form will look like. There's actually some persuasion and science that can go into just what a verdict form looks like, what questions are asked when, et cetera, et cetera. Well, when it comes to a motion for good determination of good faith settlement, when the court puts its stamp of approval on that settlement, what that means, the primary consequence, is that on the verdict form, imagine the case then pursues, goes to trial, on the verdict form that the jury will write, that defendant who the plaintiff settled with prior, their name under Nevada law will not show up on the verdict form. Again, let me repeat, when there is a settlement between a plaintiff and one defendant, and there's remaining defendants, and the case settles, and the judge grants the motion for determination of good faith, the settlement was in good faith. When it comes to trial and there's a verdict form, that defendant, their name cannot be on that verdict form. And so there's a lot of strategy from a plaintiff perspective that can go into that. When you're thinking about what that verdict form will look like, it can help determine which parties you want to settle with prior to a jury getting that verdict form. There's some parties that you don't want to be on that verdict form for multiple reasons. And today we were able to have one of these motions granted, and now that party, because it was granted, that party's name will not be on the verdict form. They're going to be out of the case. And so it puts a lot more pressure on these other defendants now, because now they know their names will be on the verdict form, and this party, this defendant, will not. And so it focuses liability determinations on the remaining defendants, because those are the names that will be on that verdict form. And so we're really happy about what happened today. There's a lot more we can talk about when it comes to verdict forms, motions for good faith settlement, and strategy that applies to when you not just settle with parties, but when you decide to file these types of motions.